Hi friends, I am Manoj Mittal. So today we are going to talk about how to store the user questions with a score into the Azure SQL database. So let's get started. So we'll just spend a few minutes to talk about how the flow works here. So we are using the couple of components. One is the Microsoft Azure Bot framework, which is going to talk with the Luis. Luis is a AI part of AI services and the language understanding intelligence system. So Luis basically works based on the intent, what intent we are going to use. So we define the two type of intent here. One is the user defined intent, another is a none. If it's user defined intent, then it's going to talk with a SharePoint Online on any other database systems. If it's none, so we are sending the request to the Q&A maker, which is having a FAQ related questions. So while doing all those conversations, so we found like the sometimes the bots didn't respond properly to the users who is asking the questions. So that's why it's important to store all the questions with a score. So at the end, admin or someone who is authorized persons can see all the questions, how many requests has failed, and having a less number of score. So then just take an example. If I build a bot and the 100 audience came at a one time and they ask a different questions and my bot respond to 70 people and 30 people not getting the answers. Those scores comes like very minimal, might be the 5%, 10%. So all conversation, if I store into the somewhere in Azure SQL and admin will look into that one, then accordingly he can integrate or like enhance all the questions. So second time when the users come or somebody asks those type of questions, they will get a proper answer. So let's get started with this flow. So I'm just taking a flow example. What I have already created couple of series of the bot. So you can go through with this intelligent Microsoft Azure bot using a Lewis and Q&A maker. I'm taking this example. So on top of that, I'm going to store the user questions into the database. Okay. So let me move to, this is my Q&A maker. I'm just storing the few random questions here and just creating the knowledge base. This is my question and this is the answers. And this is my Louis, what I'm going to use. And I'm using the intent like leave.query. Once the user type this such type of questions, it's going to hit to the SharePoint database. So in SharePoint database, what I'm storing here, so this is my SharePoint. In the SharePoint, we're using the list. This is leave application. We're storing the list number of columns here, the casual leaves, sick leaves, paternity leaves, or something. And this I'm storing as a users as a U because I'm not authenticated to my bot. It's anonymous. So the who is typing this come as a U. Okay. So I open my already exist solutions. So this solutions what it has. So it has a two dialog in the one basic Q&A maker and other is a Louis. So Louis, if I open that one, so it has intent, what I define as a none here, and other is a leave.query. Okay, based on that none, I'm just redirecting the request to the Q&A maker. So it's going to the root dialog and the leave.query. It's going to talk with a SharePoint base using the SharePoint client object model. So you can find the reference here for Microsoft.SharePoint.client so that I install using the NuGet package. Okay. So till here it's fine. So it was the reference what we did earlier sessions. So now I'm going to add. Okay. So before that, so we need to create a database. Okay. So I'll just go through the steps also how I follow to create the database. So it's quite simple. So just go to the Azure SQL. So here I have created a one Azure SQL database. So you can just click on the add. I have already created just showcase the step how it's work. You can give the name, anything. You choose your subscriptions or what type of database. I just use a blank database and the your server name you can define and also things. Just click on create. It will take a couple of minutes and you will get your database will be ready. Nothing else. And then just install the SQL Studio Management Studio and open this your database what is created on the Azure SQL. So I created that one. And after that, I just right click and create the new database. So that comes like the conversation database. In that database, I added one table. So if you see this, the table design, I'm just storing the very minimal fields which is required for this demo purpose. I have ID, which is known as a primary key for me. So the response queries user ID, date and time. So what time the user asked the questions and what the score is coming. So the important, we need to store the decimal fields. So how much precisions we want. I just randomly put the 5. So you can define as per your requirement. Okay, so this is my just a table, nothing else I have. So I'm move it to the Visual Studio Solutions and let's get started here. I just right click here, click on the add, new item. So on the new item, just go to the Visual Studio C#. I select the ADO.NET entity data model. Name I'll select by default, model 1. Click on add. So it's come entity framework designer from the database. I select it the same. So connection database, I just click on the new connection. Okay, so new connection, it's came. So we need to write the server name. Server name, you can find it from your database, like we have a text.database.windows.net. So similarly, I have this one. This is my server name. So I just put it that one. I'm using the SQL Server authentication. I'm using the password to log into this one. Okay. This one, database name. Just click on the drop down. So it should load the database what we have or what I have defined. It's taking time. Something is missing. Oh, I missed .NET here actually. So let me correct it. Yeah. So let me go again and check it here. So it's showing the conversation database. I just test the connection. Right. That's good. Click on OK. So I just need this information. That will go into my web.config. So I just select it yes. Okay. Cool. Next. So it will preview what are the objects we have in our SQL database. So as of now, I have going to select that table. I have only one table here. So it is important one model namespace. So I have a conversation data model. Just need to remember this one. I'll just put it. Okay. Finish. So once I finish, so it will add the solution into my same solution entity framework model. So let it create that one. So it should not take more than more second. Oh, that's great. It's came. So this is the model that came. It's going to talk with my Azure SQL. So it just shows it's have a direct relationship with my table, what configurations I gave, ID, I'm using response, query, user ID, date and time, and query strings. So if you expand this one, so you will get all the details. So here is a conversation data, what the class it's created as per the properties, what I'm going to use. So here we can define on the conversation data entry. So this is basically the class conversation data entry entities one. Okay. That's great. So now I need to call this one into the Louis and the Q&A maker. I just click here and create the new class. So I give the class name here, data conversation.cs. Click on add. So it's class name. I'll have a sample code. I'll take that one for this quick reference here. So this is the sample code. So what it does, I just created one function update conversation. So it's going to just take the data and put it into the entity framework for me. So it's just simple as that. I'll just make it as a static class to that one. So I can call it without creating the object of this. Okay. So till here it's done. So what we need to do, we need to integrate with our the functions. So we have a root Louis. So here I created the two variable. So it's just for identification from where the request is coming and what we are storing. It's just like a Louis response and the Q&A maker response. So after that, so we have a two intent here only. I will just call that functions what I created. Okay, I have a reference for that functions code snippet. So I'll take the code snippet for that. Yeah. So I'm going there. I just type the questions. So let me showcase here. So let me add the reference for that. Okay, great. So this is the class name and this is the functions, and it just expects a few parameters. So I'm just passing one as the Q&A maker response here. So here it's coming like the result.query, what the question we are asking going to store. The username I'm just taking from the context. It's going to store the username, date, time, and we're just taking the score. So what score is coming here? Okay. So just storing here. So similarly, we can store it down also. So anyway, username we have. It's taking this entire line. And just after getting the user, so here only I'll just put and I'll just change it here the variable with a Louis response. So it will use it to identify in the system. So that's it. Nothing else I need to store. So I will just build the solution and deploy and quickly test how it's work. So let's right click and build. So let's wait for succeed. Yeah, it succeed. I'll just go and publish the solution. So the profile I already have. So I'll just select the profile, click on publish. So it will take a couple of more seconds and it will be published. So in the meantime, I'll tell how you can get the profile. So go here in your Azure bot solutions. Here go to the all apps service. In the all app service, so it will give from here we can download the get published profile, download and just point it to that section. That's it. Okay. So let me go back and click on my test in the chat. So before that, let me quickly check it's published or not. That solution. I'm getting error or something. Okay. So it's something that's not published. Let me go to the folder structure and remove the obj folder. Sometimes it's created issues. So what it says, oh, it's okay, not an issue. So let me republish it. Shouldn't take time. It should publish successfully now. Okay. So it's done. So what we will do, we'll just take, this is the web chat client. Here we'll ask few questions. So what we have here, okay, what is the bot framework and what we have in Louis, and see the results. So if we go to the database as of now, it should not result anything. It's blank. Yep. So I'm just going and type here, what is bot framework? Okay, so it deployed. So at the initial stage, it take a couple of more seconds to warm up the system. Okay, so we are getting the response. I'll just take one more question from the Louis. So we'll see here in the Louis also what we have, how many leaves I have. Okay, how many leaves I have. So something like that. Okay. So let's see what the Louis gives. Okay, it just recognized me as a you. We are fetching our pending leaves details, so let it fetch from the system. So it's giving all the reports what we have in SharePoint list. Okay. So we'll go to the database and refresh the table and see the results is coming or not. Oh, that's great. So you see here, so it's showing this Q&A maker, and this what the question I asked and who asked and what is the date and time and what the score. So it's giving me here. So similarly here also we have a response query, what we asked, user ID and the query score. So that's all for this demo. So the main agenda to store the conversation questions and the score. So admin can take a look and just enhance the bot as per the response. Okay, thank you very much for your time. If you like the video, please subscribe my channel or like. Okay, thanks.